And welcome back. It's that famous Sunday. It's Sunday early morning show. It's early. Give me a break. Cat's up. He's downstairs. I don't know if he's going to come up. Doesn't do steps as well anymore. And since I'm upstairs, he's downstairs. Well, the old arthritis doesn't always like the steps. Once in a while, we'll see. Fresh cup of coffee. What more could you ask for in life? The opening. Actually, yeah, the opening is from the Detroit Symphony Orchestra. We were there last weekend. Yeah, when people talk, there's all these contests on concerts and stuff, and most concerts are what you've been to. I would have to say most of my concerts have been at classical. Going to the opera, Detroit Opera, Detroit Symphony. I've been here for, work, 17 years. And so I've gone to quite a few of them. Detroit's only 2 hours away. And yeah, that's kind of where I seem to go a lot. But I enjoy it. We have friends that like the symphony. I just like the opera, so I go there. But we went there, and they had Manuel de Falla. They did Suite Number 2 from him. Mason Bates, Concerto and Cello Orchestra, which was a newer symphony. Mason Bates was born in '77. So that was actually really neat. They brought in some electronics. And then Igor Stravinsky was the main one at Petrushka. So the opening, though, it was a celloist, Joshua Roman. And he was the soloist when they did the Mason Bates. And so for his encore, he came out with just his cello and began to play Cohen's Alleluia. And there's just a hush. A hush went through the auditorium as he's doing this. He's not mic'd up, but you could hear him perfectly. And, and the voice just soared. And then he brought in the audience, and oh my God. Now, in cons, in a lot of these concerts, I look younger than a lot of the people there. So that's a good thing. But the symphonies, you don't take out your phones to start waving the light, but you probably should have, because it was that kind of moment. It was really, really neat. And so yeah, I enjoyed that. That was very nice. So yeah, that's what that's from. I was supposed to go to Buddy Guy. Buddy Guy's coming to Saginaw. And then 2 weeks ago, it was I think this week. And 2 weeks ago, I get this email. Buddy Guy's sick. Oh, no kidding. Yeah, he's been doing this world tour, and he's sick. So we've rescheduled his concert. August 24th. We've rescheduled for August 24th. This is an 89-year-old person that's sick that had to cancel the concert. And I'm going to have to hope he's going to be around to August 24th. Now, I hope so, because I really wanted to see Buddy Guy. This is, be the last chance. I stumbled into him that bar in Chicago, and there he was. Like, wow, what the hell? But we'll see. I mean, I refunded my tickets. I was like, well, that's a gamble and a half, isn't it? And there was 4 of us going. And it's like, oh, son of a gun. I mean, 2 weeks out. Oh, come on, man. Yeah. So, Buddy Guy, if you're watching, I hope you get better. But nah, that was a real big disappointment on that. But what are you gonna do, huh? Hey, meow there, cat. Meow. All right, cat did make it up the steps. It just looks awful. You coming up or what? Hello. Yep, I got black shirt. I know, you couldn't resist the black shirt. Hey, I can pull out. Look, this is just, he's so straggly now. He just can't clean himself, or doesn't clean himself. We've lost. It doesn't matter. He was spaded anyway, so chicks were never a part of his life. But yeah, he just doesn't do it. He cleans his face, cleans his front legs. That's it. All right. Hey, we're going to talk some records here, okay? You mind? All right, cat's settling in here. Let's do some records. Yep, sniffy, sniffy, sniffy. Right. And we're going to begin with, this came out last year. Why doesn't this from the Waterboys. I did not know the Waterboys put out an album last year, and they did. This is it. All Souls Hill. All Souls Hill. It's their 15th album. Who knew? I guess I knew. I mean, I bought, before the flood, I just bought a Waterboys album. So I had that. So I did see that they were putting them out, but hadn't really. Many people stopped buying Waterboys after Fisherman Blues, because nothing else was ever quite like it, you know, and that still ranks as my all-time favorite albums. But they did do, and I bought CDs of their music, but I wasn't getting into it as much, and by the mid-90s, I had kind of lost track of the Waterboys. But this was on clearance. There was actually a large clearance sale that I came across, you know, 75% off albums, and so I bought stuff that, did I need? Probably not. It's like, but I mean, the price was so low. But this was one, it really, you know, okay, it had me interested. So their 15th album, and it actually was quite good, All Souls Hill. And I would think it's not that expensive out there, but let's see what we got here. We have inner sleeve. There are pictures of the band. We have very cherry red vinyl. It's really, yeah, thank you. And so this song, you know, Mike Scott of the Waterboys, he's always kind of says what's on his mind. You know, he begins with All Souls Hill, which has like these little, almost like children kind of singing at the start. And I'm going, boy, do I like that or not? I'm kind of up in the air on it, but then it gets going. It's pretty good. The second song, The Liar, I mean, he just comes right out. This is very, 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 very anti-Donald Trump, and just about the elections. Sounds of a riot happening on Capitol Hill, and he lets it out his thought about the whole process. It was very much there's yeah, very in your face kind of lyrics. There is no pussyfooting around that one. I don't think it'll be used by his campaign. He does a Robbie Robertson song, Once We're Brothers, and he takes Robbie Robertson's lyrics and he actually updates them some and has a hell of a guitar solo on it. Really sounded good. Blackberry Girl, I'm going to play you a sample of that one. It's just a breakneck blazing rock and roll song. It's a love song, but it's fun, it's quick, it's very enjoyable. Totally like that one. He does Passing Through, which is a very much a country tinged type of a song, which, you know, Mike Scott's really does a lot of. And there was, what was it, In My Dreams, it's more talking. You know, so you got the music going on, but, you know, again, you'll hear on a lot of Waterboys albums where, you know, Mike Scott, he likes to do kind of a spoken voice, which is what he does on that, and it sounds great. This was a good album. I really enjoyed this. You know, so I've read that their last 3 albums were actually pretty good. They've been kind of, you know, had, you know, 3 strong ones in a row. I can't say that for sure, but I know I liked this. Was it essential for me? No. But is it something that I really did like and listen to? Yes, I will. And I'll listen to it more. So, the Waterboys, All Souls Hill. Then we have this. This came out in 2016, and it is Starwalker. And this is the brainchild of Jean-Benoit Doncourt from Air. That last name's a screw up again. And Bardi Johansson from Bang Gang. which I have zero idea about. And so they came together to do this album, Star Walker. And it comes in, son of a monkey. There they are. Look at that handsome duel. And the, white. I went to all that work for white. I'm sure white's great. What is it a color? I don't know. So, Star Walker. This is kind of, it's very pop oriented, and it's upside down right now. Very pop oriented. They do have one instrumental with those two. I would have thought maybe more instrumental, but that's okay. That's okay. It's all right. I said the opener on the Waterboys had a children's voice. My mistake. Sometimes you get these albums mixed up. This had the opening. The opening track had a child's voice, children's voice singing. And it's kind of, it just wasn't a good way. It's called Holidays. Very poppy type song. And then they brought him in throughout the song. It's kind of almost, maybe it was okay. For me, it wasn't doing a whole lot. Then you get into Blue Hawaii, which very lush, quite beautiful. Enjoyed that. There was, what was it? Everybody's Got Their Own Way had a Motown type of a beat going on behind them. Again, not a bad song. And Radio was neat because it had that jazzy late night feel to it. The Demeter, however it was, that was the instrumental. It was the very last song. It was a good sounding instrumental, and it's okay. Someone recommended this to me, and I also appreciate that. And I went out, I'm going to give that a try. You never know. I generally will pull up a sample. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll just go buy it. And so it was okay. I didn't mind it. Maybe it's a little too poppy for me. I was thinking more in the way of more air. That would be similar to that. But that's, what, he's with someone else. He's trying to break away from being part of Air, Jean Benoit. So, I get that. But, yeah, it was an interesting listen. Not a favorite, but it didn't put on and go, well, this stinks. So that's always a positive, right? I bought this at the record show. And I just wanted to do it again to play a sample from it, talk a little bit more about it. I had bought a reissue of this, but this was an original. And the vendor there, a guy I know well, Mike, if you're watching Mike Hay, he has a store down in Grand Blanc. And so I was looking at this, and he had this album, and he goes, it can't come home with me. I will not take this home. I'm going to give you a great deal. And when he tossed the price, which was half, I couldn't say no. I hadn't expected to go in to pay that much, because this is very much a triple-digit album. It is, one of the famous punk albums, from the group The Descendants, Milo Goes to College, as you can see. And this copy is so clean, so pristine, and it did come with the inserts. So you have all the lyrics on there, and you don't always get that, and that was really good to see. So the Descendants, they're formed in '82, actually still a band, punk rock. But punk rock with brains. maybe that would be a good way to call it. And it's filled with these pop hooks, but yet there's hardcore thrash punk happening back there also. I mean, the music is fast and furious. By today's standards, the lyrics would have them up in arms. They could be racist, they could be homophobic, they could be misogynistic. There we go, missed that word. You know, in the 80s, that wasn't, it wasn't a deal. And that's, oftentimes we look and say, well, what were they doing? They, bad on them, shame, shame, shame. Times changed. This was 40 years ago. What they were singing was accepted at the time. Was it right? Well, no, but at the time, it was right. Maybe not right, but it was being said, and no one really thought that much about it. Now we do. And you know what? That's great. We should. But it isn't like I'm going to say, well, I didn't like what he said, so I won't buy that from way back then. The point is, this is a picture of time back in 1982. I don't know, maybe Descendants aren't going, but this album was done in 1982. And so, as offensive as lyrics are, generally I don't hear any of them. I mean, I'm just listening to what's going on with the guitars and the rocking music and that. This is an absolute classic, and it was written by a bunch of teenagers. Yep, there you go. So hey, you get what you get with teenagers, but it is filled with teenage angst. I mean, it is packed with it. They're really coming down with it, and it is extremely catchy, very, very much so. So this, such a classic, to find this, to see this. And actually there were two of these at that record show. I've never seen one, and there was two of them. This was the one, because actually, the starting price was a little cheaper, but then at the price I got it for, perfect. Okay, let's move into, hey, remember Britpop? 90s Britpop? I had all kinds of CDs, Britpop. Well, one of the leaders of Britpop, we had Blur. And this CD came out, I was blown away. I said, wow, this is incredibly good. And it was. This is Park Life. It came out in 1994. Damon Albarn. Of course, he's everywhere. He's everywhere. And, but this was just an amazing album to me. When they and these guys were one of the early starters of the Britpop movement. Albarn, he had a group called Circus, I believe, but then he got these guys. They formed the band Seymour, which a catchy name, Seymour. And that Seymour, eventually a record label, I believe, said, that kind of sucks. You need to, let's change it to Blur. I always remember there was a joke, Seymour Butts under the bleachers. Do you know Seymour Butts under the bleachers? Yeah. Okay. So this was the third album, and they were trying to find an identity. They kind of started off as more shoegazy and stuff and just began changing. This is the one it did. This opened up the doors. I mean, in 1990, these guys were touring the UK as the backup band to the Cramps, which is kind of cool. But Park Life gave them their first #1 UK album, and this stayed in the charts for 90 weeks. Then in the US, it went to number 59. I just adored this album. I had it in CD, and so to see it come out in album form was pretty exciting. Very much black vinyl. What, you saw me doing something over there? You want to sit there? Dude. So, just filled with great catchy stuff on here. Girls and Boys, wonderful song. Jaunty Euro disco type feel. You have Park Life, and that song, you guys, kind of talking in a Cockney type accent. I mean, it's just filled with punky guitars, but yet lush strings are on here. Very catchy melodies. And it was really a sketch of British life in the 1990s. And that's what they were trying to do. And this made them into superstars. I mean, you think of it at the start here, you had Blur, you had Oasis, you had Suede, and none of them seemed to really be buddies in that. They're like everyone's fighting for the top or whatever. And of course the tabloids were filled with the troubles, the fights that are going on between these groups. So great. But then that clearance, they had this. And so I saw that. There's Blur and Bustin' and Dronin'. Bustin' and Dronin'. It's in Japanese. Like it's a Japanese pressing, though I'm pretty sure it's not. And the vinyl is Beautiful Blue, Electric Blue, and this one is, wow, Christmas Green. Looks like a Christmas. So this came from Blur's fifth album. It came out in 1997, self-titled Blur. And on the album, they're trying to change directions and get a new sound going. This is remixes, though. I mean, they do one song remixed on here, Death of a Party, 3 times. Harris Pilton, you probably have this. I mean, it's like 12-inch, Heaven or something on here. You have On Your Own, they do a couple times. Or no, that was it? There's another one they do several different times. Yeah, on Your Own. Yeah, William Orbit remix, Blurred remix, Crotch and Broadway mix. Failed. I don't need all that. My good friend Mark, Mad for Vinyl's channel, he had sent me some VCLT. And he had sent me this wonderful book on Motown. And just great stuff on here. Before this, I've had a number of books on Motown, and they're very fascinating. I've visited Motown 3 times or so, with it being in Detroit. But great book. I had just recently bought Olivia Newton-John's Greatest Hits because I didn't have any. I thought, oh well, I'll just buy that. So, can't just spit on me. He sent me Olivia Newton-John calendar. Isn't that neat? From, was it 1977? 1976. He found this calendar from 76. There she is. Look at that. Mike Rankin. Ben Rankin. Hey, you got that? Huh? Did you have this on your wall when you were a little toddler? Well, so pretty funny. He sent that. Absolutely humorous. And then I'd been kind of beating on Rick Ashley on my podcast. 2 guys talking about records I do with Jim Gleason. I'm talking about dollar bins this week. I was kind of ragging on Rick Ashley. He sent me the 12-inch. There you go, Harris Pilton. I got a 12-inch. So here we go. Never Going to Give You Up, 12-inch, and 4 different versions of it. 4 different mixes of this. You're never going to give you up. The funny thing is, I had just been watching Ted Lasso, and on there they had done this song, and it was at a funeral, and Rebecca had done it, and I thought, God, that actually sounds pretty good. And then this comes in. I get home, this package is waiting, and there it is. So spooky. Weird. So I had that. And he sent me this. And this is from the group Good Rats. And Good Rats formed in New York by 5 university students. What I found was interesting is their bass player, when they formed, didn't even know how to play bass, so he didn't even plug it in because he didn't know how, but he just looked cool. So I'd go out there with this unplugged bass just looking cool. You know, like, hey, you can be part of the band. But they were university students. What did they care? You know, they started off, they called themselves the U-Men, and eventually they turned into the Good Rats. And they formed in '64, and they're still going. In 2016, they did an album. The thing is, there's no original members. They're dead. Pepe Marcello was the last one original member, and he died. But his son now, Stefan Marcello, runs the group. So they're still out there. And again, 2016, they did one. This is just hard rocking band. Sing-along lyrics, you know, just kind of the classic. They have one ballad on here, Oh So Good it's called, which basically it's not so good in my opinion, but their hard rock and stuff's pretty good. It's just 70s rock. And this album came out in '81, and you can see we got the proper perms going on some of the hair there to get the nice fuzzy tops, and there's Pepe, the vocalist. He wasn't permed. So yeah, it was fun stuff. I have a Good Rats album. I might even have 2 of them, so I do know this group. And like how they take that music symbol, you know, at Okinawa. No. Was that Okinawa they raised that up at? Iwo So, yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Mark, thank you very much. Funny on the other stuff. Very funny. Okay, that's all we got for this week. As always, appreciate you tuning in. We're going to have a midweek or whatever, maybe something else. I don't know. You know, I'm not the best at planning that crap. So, hey, enjoy the rest of your week. Got a little vertical records going on here, and it's now filled with cat hair. Yay for me. Have a good one. Bye.